All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of She Builds Tech Skills North America. I'm Candace Bohannon, and today I'm at the office. And so Wi Fi has been kind of a fun thing to deal with, and, just coming into this meeting right on time, I think. Today, what we're going to be talking about is something like setting goals for the year, vision planning, New Year's resolution, vision planning, kind of all mean similar things. And we're going to talk through how Brittany and I have done this in the past. So Brittany is with me today to kind of walk us through how she has done this and a LinkedIn article she's posted not too long ago. So hand it over to you, Brittany, to kind of get the level set for our show today.
Awesome. So let's do a little check in the chat. Give us a thumbs up, favorite emoji, or just a hi if you can hear us all clearly and good. We're in the Midwest and it's snowy in the wintertime, so Wi-Fi is fun, we'll call it. As you all are getting those into the chat, let's talk a little bit about level setting here. So we've all done some type of planning, goal setting, whether it's been professional, personal, maybe a little family planning, a wide variety. Two of the studies I like to refer back to as why it's important to do planning is there's a Harvard business study from the MBA program in 1979 that is still holding true today, where they talked to MBA students 10 years later, and 13% of them had written goals, but no plans, and made twice as much of the rest of the class at 84% of the class having no goal set. And here's the kicker for me. 3% of the class both had written goals and a plan and made 10 times the rest of the 97% of the class. So there's definitely some correlations that we see when you talk about goal planning and setting a plan and writing it, achieving them, but also career growth. So we're kind of tying all those together. So similar to New Year's resolutions, many times goals fall flat. So it's really important that we set the goals, write the goals, and review them. So today we'll talk a little bit about the process and just kind of talk about the process I've gone through since 2015. So personally, I started doing this in 2015, and I will say not the bit, we'll call it excited for it. I was a little underwhelmed, and I was, we'll say, not even glass half full. So I know a lot of us get like that when it comes to goal planning. So I went in, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in open mind, take this vision planning class. It was a 1.5 hour class. It had homework. And I was like, okay, we're writing a 1-year vision. Can't be too hard. And then creating a vision board. Lo and behold, I wish I could have told my past self how successful my future self has been for this, but I've been able to achieve 80% of the goals I've set each year with doing this process every year. And it's been an awesome experience to just learn about myself more and kind of help through that planning and process of it. So Candace, I would love to hear your thoughts about vision planning and kind of about your process and what you've done in the past.
Absolutely. So I am a planner, like Planny Plannerton. I love putting together the plans. I love roadmaps. I love Kanban boards. All of those Scrum, Agile, product owner type of things. I'm all about them. I had a remodel done on my house, and I did a Kanban board. Like, I just really love it. I think planning the vacation is almost as fun as going on the vacation. So I have a super strong tendency for planning in general. And normally what I do, like at the beginning of the year, that Christmas lull that you get around the holidays, I tend to kind of sit back and think about an area that I want to do better at, like just an area, a like high level goal that I want to try to do. So it might be like be more fit, like drink more water, something that's kind of easy, but it's not usually super specific, measurable, all of those SMART goal sort of things. So this year, I've had a lot of changes in my life. And so I want to get more into those details. I want to be more accountable for these things that I'm trying to accomplish. And I have taken a stab at putting that together, and I might share it later, or I may have trouble sharing my screen. We'll see how that goes. So I think that we'll talk more about mine later. I'm also taking a new job still within AWS. And so how do you purposely gear up for that and different things like that. So I have a lot of different areas that I'm working towards. And this year specifically, I want to be smarter with those SMART goals. And so I really loved your article, Brittany. I'm going to go ahead and share it here. But your article that you posted on LinkedIn, I thought was really good. So there's the link there for anyone in the audience who may want to go and check that out. So tell us a little bit more maybe about this article, or what do you do, Brittany?
Yeah, so let's actually start with asking the group a question. I would love to hear from the folks that are online. Do you have a planning process? Do you do this yearly, quarterly, monthly? Let us know what you're doing for your process. And as you're typing that in the chat, we'll kind of talk about the process I've gone through. We've changed it a little bit every time. But for the most part, it's been the same. We'll call it core steps. So first, I always set some time up to brainstorm. And the brainstorm part can be some of the hardest times. So thinking about all the things that you want to accomplish and how you're going to do it, all that. So I start with setting a 15-minute timer and just a blank piece of paper and a pen, old school. I don't do it on the computer because I tend to get distracted by everything else, all the bells and whistles and different things that just go on and off all day on the computer. So take that piece of paper, write for 15 minutes. The goal is to not pick up the pen and to keep writing down things. You could go into this mindset of like, all right, I have these things I need to do today and write them down on one side of the paper and then write down goals on the other side, whatever you need to do to keep writing during that time frame. Feel free to play music, have fun with it. You can do this with the whole family too. It's a lot of fun when you can get everyone involved, writing their dreams down of what they want to get accomplished. Then what I like to do is start organizing it into some core categories. So the categories I have kept since 2015 have been personal, professional, and financial. In the last 2 years, I've added in a special category to my heart, which is travel. I'm obsessed, kind of. Candace, similar to you. I like to plan. I like to go places, and I would love to see the world. So doing that little by little and adding that to this vision. So I'm going to actually share, if technology wants to work with us today, a little picture about what this actually looks like. We'll call it the cleaner version of it. So here is a potential of what it would look like. You could be as simple as like writing 2024 in the middle, writing a couple categories down, writing a couple places you want to learn, you want to get a certification. And this is just to get your brain dump out there. Step 2 is refining that. So putting it into those buckets of things that you want to get done. So I'm going to pause here. Candace, have you ever tried it this way or a different way? And how's that gone for you?
So I do group them. I really like the grouping aspect of them. And if technology will work for me here in a few minutes, I will show you how kind of I've grouped them. But I will say, like, I'm halfway in your process. So I copied you just a little bit. I have a work category, which is where we can like dive into some of those more details around like certifications and things. I have like a body and a brain and a money. So those are my 4 categories that I have for this year. And I think it's helpful because, you know, you don't need to have, they don't all fall together, right? And sometimes you have to prioritize your work ones, and like, how do your work goals compare against your travel goals? Like, those should not be in the same bucket. So I really like the categorizing of them. So I did steal a little bit of that from you. And I put together a vision board using a tool called Notion, which is kind of like what is it called? Like a mind garden or something like that, where you can link sub pages and all these sort of things. My daughter said that she put one together in her iPad and on Pinterest. So she has a vision board on Pinterest as well. So just some of those more computer, as long as you don't get distracted like Brittany, putting it in a digital format, those are some options that you could potentially use.
Yeah. So this is an awesome way to like get all of the ideas out of your head. And then it comes to what used to be the hardest part for me is the next part is writing that one pager about what you want to reflect on. And the hardest part for me is the way that the paper starts off. So for my 2024 goals, my one pager starts off with January 1st, 2025. I'm reflecting on the past year and how much fun and success has come with it. So you're writing it as a look back, which is kind of a mind trick sometimes for folks. So for me, it's definitely been a mind trick, but it really helps with setting that paper. And a great way of setting the time to write this is to write each category in a 5 to 10 minute period or longer, set aside time. You don't have to do this all in one sitting either. If anything I've learned, it takes time. And the first couple times I did this, I would try to make myself do it all in one sitting. And I realized that the goals weren't really matching with where I thought I was going to go throughout the year. So I've learned to kind of chunk this into different times, and it's okay if you're not in the right headspace at the right time for it. But I do want to dive into one of the components of this. So for instance, I'm going to dive into professional category for 2024 for me and just talk a little bit about the goals that I've set out in there. So one of the goals that I put in there this year was getting my AWS security cert. Since Candace already got hers, she left us behind, but it's okay. Got a little busy last year and didn't get to it. But this year, that is one of the items I have on my list. And I got to that as I want to be an ever learner. So my first idea or thought that I put on the paper was education or learning. Then I started getting into specifics of like, what kind of learning do I do? What's interesting me at the time? And went through the SMART process of getting it down to, I want to get my AWS cert by the end of Q1. So that's my Q1 focus for my professional bucket. And then you can have other items in there. So for instance, this one's been on my bucket list and it's been really hard, and you may smile and laugh at this because we all know if you've applied for this, it takes a long time and it's also very stressful. So I want to be a Grace Hopper speaker. Last year and the year before, I was a finalist, but unfortunately I wasn't chosen to actually present at the conference, which was so close yet so far away. So this year it's really buckling in and going that extra mile, and hopefully y'all will be seeing me at Grace Hopper this year, presenting something. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's something I've cooked up over the last couple months. So keeping it pretty close until it's ready to present. And then lastly, the item I put in there was global impact. So sharing what I've learned with others globally, but also learning from others globally. I love being in AWS and having all these different experiences across the US and in some of our other areas outside of the US. But I want to be more strategic this year to be able to dive deeper in just what others are doing globally within their customers and their professional careers, and kind of just learn more. It's one of the things that's been top of mind for me. And I haven't written this out yet. So I will tell you, I started this planning process in December. And my goal for this upcoming weekend is to write my one pager to write out these items. But the professional category, I would say I have plenty for this year. So that's one of the things you want to focus on, is having those 3 to 5 items. Don't overwhelm yourself. And also remember, your bucket can only get so filled. So if your professional life has 5 items, maybe your personal life only has 2, or vice versa. Or maybe you have a savings goal, so you only have 1 under the financial category, but your travel goal has like 3 or 4 items. Really want to make sure that you keep it to a limit that you feel is comfortable and also achievable.
Yeah.
So Candace, I would love to kind of go into where you are in your planning process and kind of see how you've done that virtually, because I am intrigued by the tech.
Okay.
I just need to figure out how I can get my mind to focus that much.
We're going to cross our fingers that it works. I did take some screenshots, and I think I can at least show the screenshots of my thing. But before we really do that, I want to post this little comment that we got here from Twitch, just about this admiration of going into security or even tech in general, because you're always learning. And so that's kind of something that you just said there too, Brittany. It's hard to keep up, and it's a really good goal, I think, to try to get whatever certification or whatever, like learning, whatever you need to do to continue your learning. So thank you for that comment. I think that's really awesome. The other thing is, you write this paper like your one pager, and it's almost like a working backwards session or a PR FAQ. If you are working with your AWS account team or whatever, we often do this where we want to talk with our customers about what you're trying to achieve. And so we write something called a PR FAQ, and the PR is your press release. And so I love that you're like, okay, a year from now, I'm going to speak at Grace Hopper and I'm going to talk about all of these things. I feel like that's a very Amazonian way to do your goals. And I just really like it and wanted to talk through that.
Hey, use it to your advantage too. The 1 year I wrote January 1st, 2020 or 2023, I escaped the winter by going to Cancun for the week, and I'm reflecting back on my year. I didn't go to Cancun, but I was in Florida. So you can put it where you want to be for that time and work towards that goal. So definitely have fun with it.
That's good. That's awesome. Let's see if all right, cross your fingers. Yep, it's not going to work.
Oh.
Cross as much as you want. It doesn't work. But I do have a picture. Oh, I don't know where I put it. I'll just speak to it. So I use something called Notion, and I organize my life with Notion. I have machine learning. So I'm really into ML ops is what it's called. And so I keep a whole Notion page of the various blogs that I like. So if someone's like, how do I save costs in SageMaker? I'm like, here's this blog. Don't I have a blog for you? So I use Notion for a lot of things. And they also have this vision board. And so within the vision board, you get to, I'm a kind of a visual learner. And so you kind of pick this nice cover photo at the top, and then you can list out your goals. So my goals right now, we'll talk about a couple. One is that I want to earn all the AWS certs. So I am on this mission. I don't know any other woman at AWS right now who has all the certs. Please.
You're going to get a golden jacket?
A rose gold jacket.
Yes, love it.
Yes, I don't look good in gold. So rose gold jacket. And I have 3 certs left. So with the certs, I feel like that's super easy to make it smart, right? I'm going to get my networking cert.
Let's actually pause, Candace.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone knows about the jackets per se, because I feel like that was new to me in the last few weeks. So I don't know if we want to explain what that AWS cert process looks like and why it's so just, for me, I'm like, I could never, but I would love to support you in your process and in your journey.
Well, thank you. I'm trying. It's really hard to set aside the time for that and to continue diving into that, especially on topics that I'm not as interested in. But first, the golden jacket. I don't know when or where this started. And I know I have pictures of friends, but I shouldn't share them without their permission. But the golden jacket, it's this really metallic, kind of tacky golden jacket. It's kind of amazingly hideously awesome. I want it. I do want it. It kind of looks like a bowling jacket or something. And I think it started many years ago. And those people that were able to get, the people within AWS, this is an AWS employee, we'll call it a perk. If you get all of the certifications, you can talk to your manager and they will most likely be able to get you this jacket. And it has a patch on the side and it says AWS certified or something to that effect. And so I've been kind of digging in. So I want that because I'm a bit of a freak about achievements. I really like gold stars. So I've always wanted it. And then I've been digging in and I'm like, do we have any other women that have this jacket?
I've yet to see one. And no, I've yet to see a woman have the golden jacket.
I really hope I'm wrong, but from the little bit of in the grapevine research I've done, there's none. And so I was bringing this up to a manager of mine from last year, and he was like, but I told him I wanted a pink one. And so that's where the rose gold jacket came from. He's found it. And I just have to get these last few certs, and they're on topics that I just don't like very much. And so that's why they're at the bottom of my list. But I'm getting networking here in a couple of weeks, hopefully. There's an SAP specialist certification. I've never done anything with SAP, so we'll see how that one goes. And then the cloud practitioner. Why am I waiting to put that one last? I can't tell you, but
I paused it and went for the SAA, so Solutions Architect Associate. So
Yeah.
I still laugh that I paused and did that one first because I really dove off the deep end. And it
Yeah.
sounds like you did too.
Yes. Yeah. It's, I don't know. Sometimes you eat you do the big rocks first, and sometimes you do the easy stuff first. It kind of depends on the mood of the day. Um, so yeah, those are some of my goals for the next couple of months, let's say. Actually, let me open up my board that you can't see. By the middle of March, I hope to have all 3 of those certifications, and I think I can. That seems achievable to me. So I think I can do that one.
That's
One of
awesome.
Thanks. Keep on rooting for me. I will post my tips and things like that on LinkedIn if anyone wants to start following me on LinkedIn. Let me post those for you just real quick. You can find me pretty easily. I don't think there's not many people who have this name, especially spelled this way. And then Brittany as well. So you can follow us for, more of these little tips and tricks, whether that's certifications or vision planning.
Yeah, I plan to post how I passed my security cert. I'm actually doing that with a fellow She Builds host, MJ. So we're already talking about how to dive into that, what we did for planning, and who knows, maybe it'll even be a show and we'll just all talk about your golden jacket and the security cert and the difficulty with the different exams. It could be an interesting conversation.
That's true. That would be a great one.
Yeah. So one of the things I would love to kind of talk about is SMART goals. So this is definitely one of those things that stuck with me in my entire career. And it's just something that keeps coming back. I don't know about you all, but goals are great. But if they're not SMART and they don't go through the SMART categories, it's really hard to achieve them. So I'm actually going to take a peek at a Party Rock app that I have been testing and building with and show you what we're talking about and talk about SMART goals. If you're unfamiliar with SMART goals, you can go in here and play with this, get to know it. But basically, it helps you make them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, just really overall setting you up for success to achieve them. So I don't know if someone has a goal that they have in mind that we should pop into our SMART goal assessment, or if we should go with one of the ones we have prepared. So I'll give everyone a couple seconds. If you have one you want us to go and pop in here, feel free to throw it in the chat and share. If not, I have one in my back pocket.
Yeah. I also have one that's super vague that we could potentially use, but it would be better if we could get some from our audience. While we're tap dancing and kind of waiting for anybody to be brave enough to do that, one of my favorite quotes is actually from Walt Disney, and I hope I don't mess it up too much. But I think it's something like, a goal without a plan is just a dream. And so I think making these actionable, like achievable, time-based parts are really important to actually getting to that goal. Otherwise, you're just dreaming about it. So
I have that on my vision plan from 2020.
Sweet. So is that the quote? Did I get it close enough?
That's what I'm looking up to see what the
Okay.
Walt Disney quote is, because I'm like, I don't know it word for word.
Yeah.
I always like the one from Walt Disney too, that all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. That's another famous one that he has out there too.
I like it.
For that one. There's a lot of good aspiring ones there.
Yeah.
Oh, Cheryl gave us one. So I'm going to show that here. Get an AWS certification. So love this. And it's a great way to start with this tool. So get an AWS. Everyone's going to see my lovely spelling or lack thereof.
Brittany, do you think you could make this bigger?
Oh,
For
sure.
me, it's hard to see, but that might just be a me thing.
Oop.
Oh, now I make you do a CAPTCHA again. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, good. It loves. So just make sure that we're doing things. The security is real.
Job 0. That's right.
And apparently it's not going to let me do it.
Are you a human, Brittany?
I am, but I don't have the steadiest of hands, so these ones are not my favorite.
Oh, you just have to click at the end.
Yeah, it's not working that way either.
Oh.
There we go. All right. Technology, we will figure you out. Okay, how's that look? Much better?
That's better, thanks.
All right, so we are after getting an AWS certification. That could be your high-level goal. So you can punch in any goals here, and then just give it a second. It's going to tell me I have too many widgets running at the same time. This is what happens when you stream at the same time you're doing a demo in Party Rock, and then also are double checking the live stream on YouTube and LinkedIn to make sure nothing is broken.
It's fine. Everything breaks all the time, and it's fine.
All right, so we're going to go with specific first. So it's going to give us some different ideas here. It doesn't have a specific certification. So this is a great place to start of like which certification you want to get done. This is the same thing I just went through in December. I'm like, okay, I just got the Solutions Architect Associate. Do I go back to Cloud Practitioner? Do I get the ML Ops one? Kind of going through that decision. So that's the first decision you would want to make. And it doesn't have a time frame or deadline. So goals are more efficient when they have target dates or timeframes to work within. And it doesn't break down the goal into actionable steps. So great feedback from our specific one. So now we're going to hop into measurable. All right. And it's going to give us some information here. It's actually giving us a little bit for everything. Obtaining the certification can be clearly measured by passing the required exams and receiving the certificate from AWS. So we are measurable. Perfect. And then achievable. This is giving us, I love this one. So it gives you some outside data on this one too. So it's saying AWS certificates are achievable for most people willing to put in the time to study and prepare. I will say studying and preparing for these exams is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because you're learning and trying to retain a ton of information at the same time. And it may not be how you interact with the consult from a day-to-day standpoint. So that gives you some more details about best practices. The amount of time to prepare depends on your knowledge overall. And then it is achievable if you commit to a study plan and devote the time required for learning the material. 100%, I will say I did not pass my Solutions Architect Associate on the first try. It's not unheard of, but I didn't stick to my study plan like I should have. And once I stuck to the study plan, I passed. And it was easy to go. So can agree with that one more. And
I would say too on that studying thing. So networking is the one that I'm working on now. That's my weakest spot, right? And so I studied through the entire month of December, just like reading docs and like going through Skill Builder and things like that. And then in January, I started taking practice tests. So again, like having that, like I'm going to dedicate X number of hours a week and I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do this. It's super important to have that plan together.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it without a study buddy. So like MJ and I are meeting 2 times a week to like go through and study through different things. And I'm going to do something funny because, all right, how do you tell the difference between CloudWatch and CloudTrail? Any idea?
Is it a joke? No, just tell me.
Nope. So CloudWatch, you watch with your glasses and you're watching through different things, where CloudTrail has a trail behind it because it is the logs of the different things that are happening.
That works.
So, hey, sometimes you have to do funny things to make sure little things click.
Yeah.
But hopping over to relevance, it is a relevant goal for anyone interested in working in cloud infrastructure. You can go through all the bullets, or you can scroll down right to the bottom to just see the overall for your question. And time bound. So we already talked a little bit about time bound in the other one. So it's probably going to generate, it's actually going to give us some suggestions.
Oh, nice.
Get an AWS certificate within 6 months is a great one that it's giving. So it's just giving some information here. So Cheryl, great example for us to walk through. And if we summarize using this, and you all are more than welcome to use this, pop in your goal. It's asking you which certificate you want to take. It's definitely measurable. It's definitely achievable. Then you just got to go through a couple little adjustments for the certificate you want to take and the time bound that you want to take it in, and then it would be a SMART goal.
That's awesome. And I posted the link here. I think these are clickable. I'm actually not sure. But here in the banner, I do have a link where anyone can go and play with this Party Rock app.
Awesome. I can throw it in the chat too, just in case it's given us a little bit of a fun time.
Cool.
Perfect. But it is a fun little tool to go into, and feel free to do what you need to do to help your goals be achieved there. So the other thing is give yourself time to do this. So each year I always put aside time to do this. And I think what happens to most of us, the holiday time hits, then the beginning of the year hits, and I feel like it is the fastest 60 to 90 days in the entire year. I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but it feels like we're trying to get so much done at the end of the year, and then we're trying to start the next year off very quickly. So if you don't put this on your calendar or give yourself the time to do it, it's one of those things that's very hard to achieve.
Yeah, for sure. And that accountability, like you're talking about having like a study buddy, if you can share your goals with someone, maybe you just share like your workout goals or whatever, and like you have that buddy with you. I think that's another really good way to kind of stay on top of it.
Yeah. So I think that's probably our 3 top tips, is to make sure your goals are SMART, make sure your calendar is marked, and make sure you have that accountability buddy. And you don't have to share your whole one pager with them. So you see, I didn't put mine up anywhere, kind of do that thing. But I would say for your close friends and family, if it's someone that has similar goals, feel free to share it with them. Your partner, your significant other, your kids, this could be a really good activity to just go through and help them, and them help you with the accountability side of things, but also a fun activity that's different than sitting in front of a TV, or if you're in Wisconsin and it's currently snowing, like cats and dogs outside, being stuck indoors for too long. It really is. It's chaotic. It was supposed to be rainy weather today, but it is snowing full blown.
I'm in Minnesota and I'm above freezing, so take that. Pretty happy.
Spend it this way.
Yeah.
Awesome. So are there any questions or any other examples we should put into our SMART Party Rock app to check it out?
I will say, like, while we're waiting for any comments, any additional things to come from our users, I used your app, and I had one of my goals is super vague. It's new role ramp up. And so I then was a little bit more specific and like put the name of the role in there. And still it was not like your party app, Party Rock app told me that I was so far off. Like it was not even SMART at all, because I mean, what does ramp up mean? Where's the time? And so then I broke it down into a couple of different segments. And within Notion, they have some LLM or Gen AI sort of stuff in the background. So I said something about a product mindset, and then it generated a summary for me. And then from there, I could do something to put into the SMART app and then work through it that way. So
yeah, it doesn't like when you give it the big picture items, for sure. I will say it argues with you a little bit, because when I said I wanted to make global impact, I'm still trying to define what that is going to fully mean.
Yeah.
And the app basically spit out something similar to what you're experiencing with yours.
Yeah. So it happens. All right. Well, I don't see anything else coming in from the audience. I don't know what else.
I do have a question for the audience that I know we don't get to ask often, is what all do you want to hear from us? We are in the planning stages, and I would say we love to do different varieties if we can. So did you like this type of session, which is outside of our normal? And what other sessions would you like to hear from the AWS She Builds crew?
Yeah.
Feel free to throw it in the comments. We'll go back and check them if you're doing a replay. Email us. Great call out there. I always forget about the email. And then make sure that you're giving yourself time to hop in and do things that are most important to you. So if this is one of the things that you want to prioritize this year and we can help with some of the topics you want to cover, that would be great.
Absolutely. Do we get anything else?
Awesome. We got some great sessions, great discussions. Love that. Love to hear that this was a fun activity for you as well. So we'll keep going from there.
Yeah. I guess kind of to close it out, wrap it up, you can always email us at shebuildsna@amazon.com. You can watch this and any of our previous videos on YouTube. This is our YouTube channel here, linked here. And then we're also putting our shows like maybe like a month or so after the shows air, we're also putting them in Spotify. So you can catch us in a lot of different ways, not to mention LinkedIn, which we kind of posted a little bit earlier. Also, I'm easy enough to find. Did I post this? We also have a She Builds LinkedIn group. So, I mean,
yes,
we are here. Like, ping us however you want to let us know what you want to hear, what you like, any questions that you might have. We're so happy to help. Yeah. So. Perfect. With that, any other parting words, Brittany?
Get involved in the LinkedIn group. I would love to have more conversations there. It is a private group, so let's do it. Cool. Excited for what this year is going to bring.
Ooh. Great. All right. Well, then with that, I'm going to go ahead and start the outro thing, and just wanted to thank everybody for joining us today. Check our /that page for our next episodes that are coming up. We will have a show on February 6th, which is going to be more of our normal type of show. Brittany, are you involved in that one? I think you're co-hosting, aren't you?
I am co-hosting again, so I'll be back.
Yeah. So come back to watch Brittany again. Always has these great insights for us. And thanks everybody for watching today.
See y'all.
Bye.